You are the living picture of yourself. You project what you think outward into flesh. Your feelings, your conscious and unconscious thoughts all alter and form your physical image. This is fairly easy for you to understand. It is not as easy, however, to realize that your feelings and thoughts form your exterior experience in the same way, or that the events that appear to happen to you are initiated by you within your mental or psychic inner environment. Your body doesn't just happen to be thin or fat, tall or short, healthy or ill. These characteristics are mental and are thrust outward by you upon your image. I do not mean to be facetious, but you were not born yesterday. Your soul was not born yesterday in those terms, but before the annals of time as you think of time. The characteristics that were yours at birth were yours for a reason. The inner self chose them. To a large extent, the inner self can even now alter many of them. You did not arrive at birth without a history. Your individuality was always latent within your soul, and the history that is a part of you is written within the unconscious memory that resides not only within your psyche, but is faithfully decoded in your genes and chromosomes and fulfilled in the blood that rushes through your veins. You are aware, alert, and participating in more realities than you know as your soul expresses itself through you. That consciousness of your usual daylight hours, the ego consciousness, rises up like a flower from the ground of the underneath, the unconscious bed of your own reality. Though you are not aware of it, this ego itself emerges, then falls back again into the unconscious, from which another ego then rises as a bloom from the springtime earth. You do not have the same ego now that you had 5 years ago, but you are not aware of the change. Ego rises out of what you are, in other words. It is a part of the action of your being and consciousness, but as the eye cannot see its own shifting colors and expressions, as it is not aware that it lives and dies constantly as its atomic structure changes, so you are not aware that the ego continually changes, dies, and is reborn. Physically, the structure of a cell retains its identity, even while the matter that composes it is continually altered. The cell rebuilds itself in line with its own pattern of identity, yet is always part of emerging action, alive and responding even in the midst of its own multitudinous deaths. So psychological structures formed to various names are given. The names are meaningless, but the structures behind them are not. Such psychological structures also retain their identity, their pattern of uniqueness, even while they change constantly, die, and are reborn. The I rises out of the physical structure. The ego rises out of the structure of the psyche. It cannot see itself as the I cannot. Both look outward. In one case, away from the physical body, and in the other case, away from the inner psyche to the environment. The creative body consciousness creates the I. The creative inner psyche creates the ego. The body forms the I in the splendid wisdom of its great unconscious knowing. The psyche brings forth the ego that perceives psychologically as the I perceives physically. Both the I, for those who have forgotten, and the ego are formations focused toward perception of exterior reality. Chromosomes are microscopic bodies into which the protoplasmic substance of a cell nucleus separates during cell division. They carry the genes, the blueprints, determine hereditary characteristics. Occasionally a footnote like this will be included in order to point up Seth's own material. Often he'll take off from such standard definitions in its own way. This marks the end of Seth Speaks, The Nature of Personal Reality, Chapter 2, Part 2. Let's talk about it. So in this passage, Seth is highlighting the idea that individuals shape their physical appearance, experiences, and realities through their thoughts, through their feelings, and consciousness. He emphasizes that the body's characteristics are a result of mental projections, and events occurring are initiated by one's inner mental or psychic environment. Seth stresses that one's individuality and history are embedded within the unconscious memory, genes, and chromosomes, which influence the physical and psychological structures of a person. He also explores the ever-changing nature of the ego, drawing parallels between the constant changes in cellular structures and the psychological self. If you've enjoyed this reading, please consider giving it a like, sharing it with a friend, and of course, subscribing for more. What did you think about this passage? Please leave it in the comments below. Until the next time, I am Tony Victory, a wolf uncaged. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you.